Okay, wonderful. So the idea of tonight's call, we have a couple of people who are going to be coming up. The idea is to talk a little bit about different aspects of business and how you can actually maintain consistent growth in your business. Okay. Now this is a topic that Shabir, me, and Vinod were actually talking about for a little while. Most of you guys are in the process of actually doing some work. Probably show you some plans. You've probably got a few startups. You may have a team coming along, or maybe you're at the beginning of that stage. Okay. Now this business is very, very predictable. Okay, there's not a lot of guessing around involved here. So what we're going to talk about today is I'm going to bring up the first speaker, Ali Shan. What we're going to talk about growing in different areas. Okay, when you grow yourself, when you grow your business and track it properly, you could actually predict where your growth and where your business is going to be. Okay. Initially, when you're first starting off, you're really just learning the basics. But once you get to a point where you've kind of understood how the basics of the business work, the four basics, how to properly communicate, that kind of stuff, this is a very, very predictable business. And that's basically what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be bringing up Ali Shan first. Now, Ali Shan has been away from the local system for about 2 months now, right? It's about 2 months. And the thing that I like about him is that even though he was really far away, he still found a way to stay connected even over the phone. He even drove to Pittsburgh once, 2 hours straight, just to plug in with the team. So I'm going to pass it over to Alishan to kick it off.
Thank you, Mohammed. So what I'm going to be talking about today, guys, is exactly what Mohammed pointed out, how to grow your skills. The two things I'm going to be talking about is, why read books and why listen to CDs, right? And what's the importance of standing order, and why I'm getting on it, right? So why do I personally read books? So when you look at either Rashmi or Vinod or even Mohammed, and you see how they're communicating with different types of people, you see that they're mainly doing two things. It's the basket that they have that they're offering to different other people that they're communicating with. It's full of candies and nuggets, right? And they're passing it to you. That's the first thing. The second thing that they're doing is how they're passing it. So what I mean by that is, so if you think about it this way, the books are how you're presenting yourself, how you're communicating those candies and nuggets, how you're building a relationship with the people that you're communicating with. The CDs and BSM give you what you're giving in the first place. Now, why do I read books, and what impact has that made in my business? First, I've learned how to create relationships with people I have never met before. So, for example, Edward, who recently joined our team, who's not here today, well, in the phone call, I've learned how to call him up, talk to him about different kinds of things other than business, and to establish a relationship with him just because I read The Magic of Thinking Big, right? A few of the incidents that have happened with me that I have been able to track my growth with is just today. What happened was I was giving a tour on campus, and one of the people in the library, his name is Jim. He was kind of disrupting the tour that the other tour guide, my fellow tour guide, was giving. So I approached him. I told him, hey, you're disrupting the tour. I was as respectful as I can, but he flipped on me. And he's like, you should go and take your tour somewhere else. And this was, the first time that I've faced such a situation. So I just smiled at him, and then I let the tour leave. And after everything cooled down, I went and approached him again, talked to him again. And like, hey, I'm sorry if I offended you, but you were kind of disrupting. I talked to him, basically. I realized by reading the book that I hurt his ego, which is one of the things you don't mess people, you don't mess with. Believe it or not, after the conversation, it ended off with on good terms. Okay, so it's just basically growing your personality to a point where you attract people instead of repelling them. You come into a position of influencing other people. Why would they listen to you? When you have their ears, is when the CDs come into place. When you have their ears, what you're planting in them is what you're getting out of the CDs. Now, why do I listen to CDs, right? Why I listen to CDs is CDs give you all the nuggets, information, of all the past experiences, mistakes of a lot of the successful people that have accumulated over the years, right? And this is very powerful. You can get wisdom on an accelerated pace, okay? Just so that you don't repeat those mistakes, and you kind of accelerate your growth through that. So once you have those nuggets, and once you have the power to influence people, you're done. You're set, right? So that's why I listen to CDs. It's just to grow myself, kind of grow my thinking process in the business. Now, again, the reason why I want to get on the standing order is because you see all these posts about different kinds of talks that usually Muhammad, Shabir, Gaurav, Sapna make on our Facebook page, right? Usually those talks are they're pretty good. That's why they're being posted about. Now, we're not going to be able to know what's happening and what the experiences are of all these people if we're not on a consistently learning habit. And that comes with if you have that information coming at you. So these are some of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why I'm aiming to become a core IBO by the end of this month. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll pass it over to Mohammed to introduce the next speaker. Thank you, guys.
All right, awesome. Very, very well done, Alishan. Again, you can see even though he's been away from the system for a while, he has been plugging in and learning, so that's very well done. Next, I'm actually going to be bringing up Theo. Now, the thing I like about Theo is that when I first met him, he was the one thing that I noticed, he was very eager to learn. He was very humble, and he was very, very receptive to information. So I'm going to pass it over to him to talk a little bit about how he's benefited from that, and a little bit of kind of a few ideas and topics he's going to be discussing. So, Theo, over to you, bro.
Hi, guys. How's it going? I'm based here in Rochester, part of Adam's team. I started about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, I think, something like that. But since I started, in terms of going to PACE, I haven't missed a single meeting since I've joined. So, and that's because that's very important, to go to these weekly, I guess get-togethers, so to speak, the meetings. Because think about it, the people you're there with, if you just started off like myself, everyone else generally, or well, most likely is they have a higher PV than you. They're higher up on the ladder, and they you learn from them. By going to these meetings every single week. You surround yourself with the right people in the business to grow yourself. To pass down information to you. Because they're trying to, you're trying to learn from all these people that are higher than you. And what better way to do that than to go to PACE every meeting, or plug in the phone team every meeting. I know this Sunday I actually missed my first phone team since I joined, but family stuff, another issue. But I pride myself on the fact that those meetings, the weekly things, but I've only missed one out of the 3 months worth that I've been in the business. I've learned a lot from it. It's important to go to these, even if you really don't feel like going that week. Just do it. You feel better. There have been times I went to PACE where it's like, hey, I feel like trash, and by the time I'm done, it's like, wow, where's my next team member? Come on, where are you? I want to start making contacts now. But then I realize it's like 11 at night and no place is open to do stuff like that. But I digress. So really, the important things to take away from the meetings, besides going to learn, is to develop your self-image. And your self-image, by going to these meetings, you develop that by what you learn and who you talk to, who you associate yourself with. That's important. It really is. If people see that you're this down, kind of like low energy guy, they're not going to remember. A lot of the positives from, if it's their first experience, It's always good to try to be positive, and upbeat about whatever it is you're doing in the business, especially at pace. Positive energy, positive vibes. So in terms of teachability now with your mentor, your upline. So I guess the definition, well, I won't say the definition, but in this sense, being teachable, you're able to receive negative or positive feedback from whatever it is you may be doing, and eventually build on that and learn from your mistakes. And start doing things our correct way, essentially, so to speak, or the correct way, I should say. So uh, you should listen to your upline because, well, first off, they're silver, platinum, diamond, whatever, for a reason. They're doing something right, and you don't know if you don't know what that is yet. Then it's like, hey, you should probably take note and learn from that. Try to follow what they're doing. So I mean, someone I strive to learn anything and everything I can from Muhammad here, just because he's freaking just gone silver and I'm still a scrub at 150. So I'm in that sense, yes, I, especially myself, learn from those who are, even if there was 100 PB ahead of you. It's like, well, they're 100 PB ahead of you, so like, what do they do differently? I guess in the sense also, especially when it comes to getting contacts and shit, learning how to show plans. When it comes to like I said, the feedback, you need to hear what you've done wrong or right, because there's positive reinforcement and there's negative reinforcement. Both are good. We'll say that, but you need to be able to learn from your mistakes and correct them, and try to do something a little different next time around. You show the plan, for example, or you try to get people on your phone just to contact or call during the phone team. That's really all I've got to say about your self-image, I guess, and your teachability and your own personal growth. I can't wait for the conference this weekend, you guys. Can't wait. But I will now pass this over to Nasser. He's a mechanical engineering student at University of Buffalo. He's doing very well academically. He's got business in New York, Florida, and Australia. So, Nasser, over to you, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Theo.
You're welcome.
Great stuff, all of you guys. I mean, there are two guys that have spoken. Mohammed, great stuff too, man. Great, yeah, whatever. So my topic is on the business growth, but most of my topic is concerned on the retail aspect or the points aspect. Okay. So let me first give you an example. In fact, the question is, why buy from your own business? Okay. Now, that is one of the reasons, things that Muhammad covered in Muhammad covers in his plan. So I think I got it pretty good. So the analogy is, if I own a gas station, right, and there's another gas station across my own gas station, and what happens if I go to the gas station which is across mine? I mean, it is, even if it's like 20-30 cents cheaper, I mean, I will save a couple of cents every 2 or 3 days, but I will be losing a lot of customers as well, and my business is eventually on the path of self-destruction. True. So the point is that even if I don't go to my gas station, I wouldn't be able to attract clients or customers either, because when clients or customers or people in general see you, that you buy from your own business and you are consistently buying from your business, I mean, most of it, in fact all of it, if you want to be 100% IPO, then yes, you do have to buy from your own business. Okay. Now, Mom also wanted me to cover like some of my favorite stuff from the business. So I think bars are probably my most favorite food, I would say. I think I started in the business because Shabir gave me one meal bar, mixed berry crisp, and I still remember that day. I was like, maybe it's pretty good, and it was pretty good. I still buy like a couple of boxes every month or so. That is one of the most favorite bars, quite addicting as well. My second most favorite would be the Nutty Dark Chocolate. I mean, it's chocolate. Who wouldn't like it? It's nuts and as well. and they all have protein in them. It's not like they're just sugar straight up and you just get diabetes or something. They have protein, they're healthy. There's that as well. And also excess, of course, I think it is most of people's favorite here as well. My most favorite would be the Naranja Blast, I think, because it is a good substitute for cola. I don't drink cola. I mean, I stopped drinking cola a couple of years back. I only drink excess, and I probably buy 2 or 3 cases a month for my own personal consumption. Okay. Now, I try to see how I can set up appointments with people who said no to joining hands in the business. And that is how I create the retail volume or the deficit that I have. Let's say I buy stuff for like, let's say 70 points. If I want to get to like 100 points or whatever my goal is, I need to cover that gap. Now, as a student, I can't always buy stuff because I'm a student. So usually that's where when you show the plans, if a person is a red light or is not interested, but he likes the product, then you can sample out some products. That's why where sampling comes in is a key. So when you sample the products, they like it. I liked it. I literally started the business because of that. So yeah, so do sample products, do the ham or SAM sessions, talk to your upline. Mom is a great coach. And so yeah, and also take advantage of the promotions. Like currently there's a credit card promotion running as well, the Bank of America credit card. So if someone starts or if someone gets approved for the credit card, you get 100 points. I think there's 100 business volume as well. So that's amazing. You did nothing. You just asked someone to sign up and voila, you have 100 points in your system. Okay. And once you get what you buy, for example, let's say I buy 2 meal bar boxes and 2 access cases. Now you have established what you are already bought. Let's say you buy that in the first week of the month. That's why we have the second week night out. That's one of the qualifications as well. So when you buy that, and now when you eat it in front of your friends, family, or just while you're commuting, the people around you will be seeing, hey, what's this guy eating? I mean, what color is it? Why is he not drinking cola? Because cola is like all red or Pepsi is blue. We have like multiple colors and stuff. So they will ask you, or they will be curious too. Okay. And when they see that what you're eating or drinking, then they will ask you, and you might as well buy from yourself. Okay. And with that, I'm done. I would like to bring up my sponsor, Shabir Mustasan. He's studying. No, he's not studying anymore. He's working in Pittsburgh as a project manager with Vinod. Oh no, with Abida. And with that, I think that's pretty much it. Shabir, you can come up and talk.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that knowledge addition, Nasser, Theo. Great talk, Theo. Great talk. You know, I really learned a lot from Alicia and you too. Awesome. So I'm going to dive into the topic very fast because I know Vinod's going to plug in right after me. So, you know, best to hear Vinod talk. But thank you for Mohammed for putting me on the call. I know getting on schedule is a big deal. So, you know, those of you who get on, it's not a big deal. It doesn't happen to everybody. Good. So now show the plan. Now I'm assuming that everybody in this call has got to a point where they're calling people up and they're inviting people to see the business opportunity, which is fine. For me, it took a little longer to get to that point. You know, I don't know. I thought that I could, you know, do it on my own. And, you know, I'm like, wait, why ask Muhammad's help when I can just get people signed up myself? And when it didn't happen, I had to go back to him. Like, hey, you know, maybe I'm not saying something correctly. What did I do? Good. So the point of my topic is actually in the plan stage. After you're calling the people, how do you track the results that actually come through? Now, if, for instance, I have 10 appointments that are booked, but out of which I'm getting only 2 people show up. Okay, that the numbers don't lie there. That just means that I have written down like an Excel sheet. Like I don't know, Mohammed maybe must have shown it to you guys. That he had an Excel sheet of every person that he's like spoke to, and at the end of that Excel block, he has a note attached to it that says what stage of 4 basics they are and what their attitude was. For example, if they were positive, so he writes, hey, very positive, wants to sit down, and the plan booked for this day. If they were like, I don't know, then, you know, he'll also write that down. Maybe they're like skeptical, and he's not gonna like fuss too much about that. He's just gonna move on. If if he gets a no, then that's it. But the idea is that why to track them? See, prevention is better than cure, right? If you want to be in platinum qualification in a couple of years, what I learned from Vinod and all the other coaches, especially Rashmi, in his series, he talks that in a team of 50 people, if you're doing the plans very fast, you have to track them because the business is built on speed. And if you're doing 10, 15 appointments in your first month, second month, third month, eventually, if you do it consistently, you'll need to find a pattern. Okay. Now, if let's say you caught a mistake at the 5th plan, that's better than catching a mistake at the 30th plan, right? Because the worst thing we want as uplines is our team to come and say, hey man, I've shown 40 plans, I've wasted this much time, and I've not got any results. We don't want that to happen, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to track and have a feedback loop. So every time I had a struggle, it could be in showing the plan, it could be covering it, it could be relating to the person, maybe I'm saying the wrong thing to the wrong person. It could be anything. It could be a lot of things because the plan is not just a presentation, right? It's also you connecting with the person, you know, making sure the person is actually receptive to what you're hearing, how to lead up to the point where they are in the position that they will trust you, especially if you're doing seamless plans. So for example, if you're contacting strangers, you just met them, it's going to be a touch and go. You need to know that because even if you track it, what's going to happen is, let's say if Mohammed and I are awesome at the plan, we do 40 plans, maybe 1 or 2 people might get started. That's just how it works. But the point I know is that even no matter how good you get, that's just how C lists are going to work. But A and B lists, though, that you can track because, for example, I know there's people in the team like Alishan here. He's been like, working with his family members, contacting and talking to them. That's his skill set. Okay. What I did in my case was that, hey, maybe if I make a mistake in this appointment, I don't have to make it the next time. So I am never afraid to make a mistake. At worst case scenario, I'm like, okay, man, worst case scenario, the guy's going to laugh at me. I'm going to feel bad for 15 minutes and then I'm going to call Muhammad and I'm going to be very happy. That's what I used to think. Okay. But what I'm talking about here is that you want to have your upline in the loop every time you're doing activity. It doesn't mean that you're like giving a status report. It just means that you let them know what the status of our activity is. So if you say, hey, Muhammad, I booked 6 plans, but only 1 person showed up. Then Muhammad would be like, okay, maybe, why don't we check how you booked the appointment? Maybe there could be an issue in confirming the appointments. So, that's just one. Because if you're booking the appointment and people are not showing up, that just means that either you said something that came across in a different way or anything. It could be anything. It could be me even contacting the person and saying the wrong question or something. I don't know. The upline would know more because what you're going to do is you're going to have a step-by-step breakdown of the conversation you had and you're going to show it to them because if you don't, he would not know what is coming across differently. Okay? So the biggest mistake people like me, type A, very aggressive, very straightforward. If I say something that came across the wrong way, the person's not going to answer my phone the next day. Okay? I know that. I'm a risky investment. So I have to be very cautious that, hey, Mohammed, if I say this sentence, how would this come across? If I ask this question, for example, someone's older than me, I'm going to use a different language. So basic little things. Because even now, Mohammed and I have this conversation that, hey, what if someone's in his 50s and we are contacting them? Are we going to go and do the conventional approach? Or should I ask someone like Gaurav and like actually get his advice on it? Because I might be doing it consistently, and if I get it wrong once, I can fix it the second time. But if I get it wrong 20 times, that means I wasted 20 hours. And none of us want to waste 20 hours in doing plans, right? The goal is to go faster and faster. And if you do 20 to 25 appointments, you should get 15 to 20 plans out of it. If your numbers are a little less, Rashmi says this, that every 10 people, you should have 2 to 3 startups. But they should be done in your A and B list, okay? And I know more people that have done that have got success. Like, for example, for me, I've done 30 plans in some months and just got 2 to 3 startups. That's normal. That's fine. But the point is that if I was doing it wrong with everybody, then I would have got nothing. And that would have felt pretty bad. But I was here to talk to Muhammad every time. And again, how I use previous experiences. For example, if I had a mistake here, that, hey, maybe I said this to this guy. And maybe this doesn't come across correctly. On recommendation with Vinod or Mohammed, I speak to them and say, hey, is this question valid? Is this something you would ask in a call? Even now, like at this stage, I still have to go better at my 4 basics. I cannot say I'm perfect. And there's no cookie cutter approach that, hey, binary input, plan in, startup. No, it doesn't work like that even now. People deciding on getting started, that's up to them. Okay. But yeah, if you're doing it consistently, you'll be good. So yeah, with that, I'm really excited to bring it back to Mohammed. And I'm really excited about having seen most of you guys at the conference. So with that, back to Mohammed to bring up our awesome upline Vinod. Bye-bye. Hope you had fun today.
All right, awesome. Very, very well done, Shabir. Excellent. All of these speakers. All right, very well done. Executed perfectly. So last but not least, we're going to bring up actually my coach in the business, the guy that showed me everything that I learned. I met him when I was back in school, actually. And the fact that he was willing to help me driving back and forth from Pittsburgh just to help support the team in Buffalo. Honestly, none of this would really be possible without him and Abida and all the other guys that are helping out. So for those of you guys that don't know Vinod, he's pretty much at a level called Sapphire. That means he has 2 organizations at the 25% level and above. Okay. See, you could do it once kind of by mistake, right? You could kind of accidentally create some kind of success. You can't do it twice by mistake. Okay. So he's kind of mastered the art of building this business. And I'm really excited about meeting him at the function again. But with that, thank you again, Vinod. Really do appreciate you taking time out. And yeah, over to you.
Awesome. All right, guys. How is everyone doing?
Great.
Awesome. I think I'm meeting Moez for the first time on video. Nice to see you, Moez. Good stuff. Fantastic, guys. This is exciting. Like what Mohammed was saying, my name is Vinod, and my wife's name is Abida. Okay, and we're both engineers. By background, we're both engineers. We both have electrical engineering degrees. We're both into product development, R&D, all that good stuff. Okay, that's what we do. But man, we're so excited about the business, guys. It's stuff that's happening in this organization. One thing I can tell you, you guys are in a cutting edge team. Okay, this call is proof for it. Okay, just the fact that you have someone from the absolute west coast of Canada at this point, okay, and someone from the absolute east coast. Okay, literally all corners of USA, man. You guys, nobody in the middle, right? Somewhere, every one of you is in one corner.
Florida is in the middle.
Toronto is the middle. Yep. Yep. But it's amazing. Just the fact that this call is happening shows that you're in a cutting edge team. Yeah, absolute cutting edge organization. Okay. One thing which I've understood, right? I've always built this business far away from my uplines. Okay. I've never had a local upline. And one thing I did understand is, hey, as long as the thinking is in the right, as long as our thinking is tuned to the right, is tuned right, distance doesn't matter. Okay. If I can absorb the thought process of my coach, irrespective of the organization or irrespective of how far he is, it doesn't matter. Okay. At the same time, if you're like sitting right next to your coach all the time, and if the thinking is not in tune, okay, even then distance doesn't matter. If the message is not going across, the message is not going across. Right? One aspect of business, guys, something which really I had to learn, absorb, and really I had to actually really learn this thing. Okay, is consistency. Okay? If there's one thing in business which you really want to learn and really want to work on, is the consistency aspect. It's like I'll give you an example. Let's take the gym. Okay, for folks who go to the gym, if I go to the gym 100 times in the next 10 years, okay, will my body see any difference? Most likely not. Okay? At the same time, if I go to the gym 100 times in the next, let's say 3-4 months, next 4 months, if I go 100 times, okay, 100 visits to the gym, there'll be a big difference. Okay. So the work is the same. Question is what duration was that work done in? Yeah. What duration? Was it done in across a year, across 10 years, across 3-4 months? Okay. And the results will be drastically different as well. And the same applies for this business too. I see a lot of times people get started in business and we do a whole bunch of activity. We're like, we're in the zone. You do like 12 plans, 15 plans. You read and listen and do everything for a 1 month period. And then it's like, let me see, nothing really, no real team growth, no real organizational growth or business growth. And then they slow down. Okay. It's like going to the gym for a month and hoping to see results. It really doesn't show up in 1 month. It takes 3, 4, 5 months for it to really show up. Okay. Now, the same thing happens in business too. You actually get into the zone showing all these plans and activities. You get that going for a 2, 3, about a good, solid 6 month period. You'll see a massive difference in your organization. A massive difference in your team, in your organization. That is how every business is designed to grow. Think of it this way. I was talking to a good friend of mine just a couple of days back. If I had a restaurant, okay, and I put all my effort into this restaurant, and I kept it open for 2 months. Okay, I kept it open for 2 months, and then I go ahead and take a 3-week vacation. Okay, whatever customer base I develop in that 2 months will go away because they're in that 3 weeks of vacation, they're going to think that I've run out of business, and they're going to find another restaurant which will satisfy their needs. Okay, the same thing happens in our business too. The same concept, really. Same thing happens. So the key is consistency. How consistently can you put the effort? Okay. Our coaches have always taught us, Gaurav and Sapna have always told us that if you put 2 years in faith, okay, 24 months straight in faith, keep rocking it for 2 years, you will see a massive organization. Really a massive organization. And I've witnessed this happen to our own organization. Today we witness it happening to people in our own organization. I've seen Mohammed do the work consistently for a 2-year period. And man, the coming fiscal year, not only is he going platinum, he's got a shot at going Q12. That's clocking in about a $65,000 income from this business, net. Okay, I'm not talking about the gross income, which shows up in our paycheck, right? And I'm not talking about that. His profit should be at $65,000. Okay, the next fiscal year, pretty much. And starting in September, really. Okay. So consistency factor being very, very important to that. Okay. Now, couple of questions which will come into our minds. I remember me going through it, Abhida going through it, we as a couple going through it, when we were singles going through it, all phases of business we built this in. Okay. When you're putting in the work consistently, a few common questions which will come through. First thing is, I'm putting in the work, I don't yet see a business result. Okay, it might seem discouraging in the beginning. It might feel discouraging. Okay, it'll be like, man, I did like 3 months, I did 15 plans, 20 plans a month, but nothing has shown up yet. Okay, and it might seem discouraging, and I understand that too. Okay, it's very natural for it to seem, but also understand that there is a phase in business where you're acquiring the skill set yourself. Yeah, and then there is a phase in business where you mastered it and you got control of the result. Okay. You'll never go to phase 2 without going to phase 1. So you have to go through phase 1. There's no way to go to phase 2 without that. Okay. Couple of again one of the common questions which comes is, I'm doing a lot of things, not seeing much of a result. Why is it this way? It's basically an employee mindset. I worked X number of hours. Why am I not getting this much of a profit? Okay. There is a foundation laying time, and then there is a business profit reaping time. Okay. That is the nature of any business, any enterprise. That is the nature. Okay. I remember something very vividly. This was, I remember right after graduating, me and Abhita, we found jobs and everything. And a very common thing which would happen is, I would see all my friends go on these fancy vacations. Fancy vacation, Alaska cruise, Italy, Venice, Rome, Peru, Australia. They would go to all these fancy vacations. Okay, and me and Abhida would drive to Buffalo. It'd be like, we'd drive to Buffalo, we'd go to San Diego, we'd go meet our teams, come back, do stuff. And in the beginning, we were like, are we the only, have we lost it, or is something wrong with us? I remember thinking that as well. But again, it's a phase of business. We are both entrepreneurs, and we put in that time and effort and built our company in that time. Okay. I'm so glad we did that. Okay, one income is replaced. One of our full-time incomes is replaced from this business. Okay, and there is no. Here's what that also means. Okay, if you replace a full-time income, it means you have actually won back 40 hours of your life, 40 hours of your week for the rest of your life. Yeah, let's put it in terms of time instead of looking at it in terms of money. It means 40 hours. We actually got back 40 hours of our life every week back for the rest of our lives. Okay, that's exciting to think of it. Meaning, if one of us decides to take a vacation, we can take a good, solid vacation. But our goal is not to take a vacation now. Our goal is to replace both our full-time incomes. And hey, whenever we want, both of us can take a vacation. Okay, not the. I remember this so clearly. A lot of my friends would go to Las Vegas. Okay, and I'm sure a lot of your friends do the same too. Las Vegas, and they would all take pictures of the hotels. Of the, like Las Vegas hotels are very fancy. You'll take pictures of the hotels, and but nobody was taking pictures of their rooms. Okay, when Amway gave us a trip to Las Vegas, we realized the reason why. Okay, it's because what happens is in Las Vegas, you got the fancy hotels where you can enter in for free and check out everything. But to stay in the hotel costs about $500 a night. Okay, so what most people do is stay across the street in a Motel 6 or a Super 8 or whatever, and they'll advertise the fancy parts of the hotels. Man, we were staying in one of the fanciest hotels in the world. $500 a night was what our, and it was free. Amway provided everything for us. Okay, so going through that phase, we felt that. Even sometimes we feel it even today. Okay. Second thing, the aspect of should I be looking at other options as well? Okay. Should I be looking at real estate more? Should I be looking at another business? Should I be looking at this, that? I remember going through that phase too. At one point, we were creating enough of an income where we could invest, and do a whole bunch of other things. Okay. Here's one thing which I understood. If there are people like Rashmi who create multi-million dollars of business, and still they invest their time and money into this opportunity, okay, it means that the return of investment is higher here. Okay, Rashmi has already created that multi-million dollars of income. If he is investing and if he is putting his time and money into this business, the ROI is higher here. Okay, it was just a common sense thing which I had to look at. Yeah. We saw that. I saw Manoj and Gaurav and all, they put back and they grow from this business. Okay, but these are very common questions which will come. Okay. Next thing, learning skill set versus results. You got to get to a point where you're improving skill sets. Okay. If, for example, you're showing 15-20 plans, okay, you show the business to 15-20 people, but only 2 people are coming to a follow-up. Don't get frustrated at that. Instead, look at it very logically and say, you know what? I showed 20 plans. 2 people came for a follow-up. Maybe my plan is messed up. Maybe I need to change something in the plan. Okay. So looking at it in a very, very objective manner, you got to, when it comes to business, you got to take the emotional aspect with setting goals. Keep that for setting goals. But when it comes to processes and how business operates, you got to take emotion out and kick in logic. Okay. Common mentality is emotional processes. Okay. Common man's mentality is highly emotional process and highly logical dreams. Okay, I'll show you how that works. If you go to a normal person, an average person, and ask him what do you want to, what car do you want to buy, and he'll be like, for my income, I make this much, I can save this much, I can buy this much of a car. Okay, very logical dream. Okay, but very emotional in the process. Let's say if he shows 5 plans and 5 people say no, he'll get demotivated at it, and very emotional in the process basically. An entrepreneur has to switch that. You got to be emotional about your dream, about what you want to accomplish, and very logical about the process. Okay? Not getting emotional about what went on, but more into, hey, this is what I did, this is how I, being very emotional about the results of it, about the end goal. Okay? I'll wrap up with this, guys. I know some of a lot of you guys over here are actually coming to the function, okay, the conference which is happening, and that is a game changer for me. That it changed the face of our business. Okay, it totally changed the face of our business. Folks who are coming to the function, make sure you drive safe. I know Florida guys are driving all the way from Florida, and make sure you guys swap. Rishabh and Mohammed, you guys are driving all the way from Florida, so make sure you guys swap drivers, do all that good stuff. Make sure the person sitting along close to the shotgun is not sleeping either. Make sure shotgun's not sleeping. Take a lot of excess. Okay, it's gonna be a blast. The function's gonna be a blast. There's gonna be so much of fun, so much of information shared in that one and a half day sessions. For me, it'll really escalate your business to a 6-8 month period ahead of the game. And so there'll be a lot of growth coming out from the function. As much as you're preparing for the function, I would also recommend take it one step above. Okay, if you're preparing, you're excited about the function to go and everything. Take it one notch above that. Think of, hey, how do I leverage this function so that I can actually accelerate my business growth? Okay, maybe take some pictures at the function. Okay, when you're showing some plans, use those pictures to show those pictures in your plans. While you're showing plans, show those pictures. Okay, I would in fact do this. Think of what you want to accomplish from the business and chart out a game plan for yourself before you go into the function. Okay, on the Sunday afternoon time, there'll be a little bit of a break and everything. Sunday afternoon, before the session starts, sit with your upline. Okay, sit with Mohammed and go through it. Tell that, hey, this is what I want to accomplish. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I learned from the function. So it might change also. What you want to accomplish might change from what you learned at the function. But get a clear game plan. By the time the function's done, before you head out from date and function, you should have such a clear picture on what exactly you're going to do. There should be no confusion on what you're going to do. What exactly you're going to do in the next 90 days. Okay? Not 5 year, 10 year. Next 90 days, what are you going to do? There should be clarity on the next 90 days. Okay? So, but yeah, man, and of course, some of you guys, I know if you're not able to make it there, don't worry about it too much. Okay? It's okay too, yeah, but plan for the next one. Okay? If you're not able to make it plan for the next one. Most of the time, most of the folks who went for this one, they'll probably be announcing the dates for the next one, okay, right after this function. So plan for it. Whatever it may be in terms of finances, time, and everything. Plan ahead in time. Okay, man, we are excited about this organization. This is, Mohammed's getting all, Mohammed, the whole team is really getting ready to get into something called Q12. Okay, it means the entire organization for 12 months in a row is going to be at 7,500 points. Here's what I would do if I were you. Now that you know that Mohammed's team is pretty much going to be at 7,500 points for the next 12 months straight. Okay, how about you tune that towards your direction, your favor? Okay? When I knew when Manoj was going platinum, what we did was we knew that Manoj was going 7,500. It means somebody was going to go 4,000, right? Like, hey, if somebody is going to go 4,000, I wanted to be that 4,000. Okay? So, be the biggest part of your upline's goal. Be the biggest part of his organization, of his goal. Okay? Best way to path of least resistance. It's like a jet stream. You get into the jet stream kind of thing. Okay, man, we're excited about this team. I know there's a bunch of platinums coming up from here, and I know this team's probably almost everybody in this organization is all hammering in international markets as well. That shows the maturity of an organization. But awesome, guys, rock and roll. We're very proud of this team, and yeah, we'll be our commitment is to be the biggest part of Gaurav and Sapna's diamond ship. They're getting ready to get diamond done, and as a byproduct of that, there'll be several platinums and emeralds popping up in this team. Okay, but with that, over and out, guys, rock and roll. Have a great night. See you all in Dayton.
Thank you very much, Manoj.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Thank you. Hi.